If I had to start all over again in my real estate business, what would I do differently? Well, that's what we're going to be digging into today because while I can't go back and change the past, I can share what I would do differently so you don't have to learn the hard way. Now, if you're in this season right now where things feel uncertain or you're questioning your next step, this one's for you. Are you tired of feeling like you're doing all the things as a real estate agent but still not seeing consistent results? Well, that ends right now. Welcome to the Profitable Real Estate Agent, the show for agents who are ready to stop winging it and start building a profitable and sustainable business. This season, we're going to cut through the noise and focus on exactly what it takes to make $100K as a real estate agent. Without the guesswork, without the overwhelm, and without wasting time on things that don't move the needle in your business. I'm pulling back the curtain on the exact framework that took me from my first 100K to 500K to building a 7-figure business. So if you haven't hit 100K yet or you struggle with inconsistency, don't worry, I've got you covered. It's time to take action. Let's get to work. If I had to start all over as an agent today, what would I do differently? Now, I see this question all the time as a reel or post or a carousel from my fellow real estate agents on social media. But as I started to really see this more and more, it made me stop and think, how would I answer this question? Now, do you have a few hours? No, don't worry. I promise this isn't going to turn into a 3-hour Joe Rogan podcast. I'm going to keep it short and sweet like I always do. But as I thought about this question, 3 things came to mind immediately. Now, are there more? Yes, of course. I've got 2 decades to look back on. But for me, these are the 3 lessons that I take with me if I had to begin again. And at the end, I would love to hear from you. DM me. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. Link is in the show notes. And then DM me and tell me, are these the 3 you thought I would say? The first one is do it scared. Now, looking back, I can clearly see this one thing early on held me back from scaling faster, making more money, and honestly would have saved me so many sleepless nights. I mean, I can remember so many nights laying awake, thinking of I call it my record player, replaying everything over and over, things I didn't do, things that I wanted to do, but were scared to do. I mean, all the things, because I was always worried about the outcome. And the outcome I imagined, and tell me if this is you too, is always the worst case scenario. It's not the best, our silly little brain. Now, who can resonate again with that? Or I would fall into this perfectionism pattern, thinking I couldn't move forward because I didn't know everything. Spoiler alert, nothing will ever be 100% perfect, and you'll never know everything. Just thought I would share that with you, my little tidbit of information. And here's an example. I actually went back to my files to check. I did not take my first listing, you ready? Until 2010. Let's do the math real quick. If you follow me long enough, you kind of know a little bit of my story. But I left new construction and entered the general market in 2006. 4 years, my friends. 4 years before I listed my first house. Now, of course, during that time, remember the Great Recession happening here. I worked with a lot of buyers and, of course, investors during that time, but not a single seller. That was because I told myself I'm not capable enough. I worried that if I got in front of a seller that I wouldn't have all the right answers. I convinced myself, you're not ready. I talked myself out of my own ability to list homes. Is that you right now? Are you talking yourself out of what's possible because of fear or something that hasn't even happened yet? Because when you don't try and do it scared, you're missing out. This fear is going to steal your opportunity every single time. So how do we get out of this cycle? Here's one simple tip for you. I want you to flip the question in your head next time this happens. So instead of asking yourself, what if this goes wrong? Ask yourself, what if everything went right? I'd rather you look back and say, I tried and failed than to never try at all. Hey, a real quick pause before we go deeper. If you're listening right now and thinking, I want a clear plan to finally reach 100K, then check out my signature program. It's my step-by-step framework for real estate agents who are ready to stop winging it and start building real results. Inside, you're going to learn the exact fundamentals to build the foundation to hitting 100K. We're going to cover everything from mastering your buyer and seller consultations to building your database and delivering a 5-star client experience and everything in between. You're going to get access to my scripts, templates, and checklists. Plus, we're going to have coaching, accountability, and support so you never feel alone. Click on the link in the show notes now to join the roadmap to 100K. All right, let's take you back to the episode. The second one is I would have hired a coach at the very beginning of my career. And I already know what you're going to be thinking, but Vanessa, I'm not even making consistent money. How can I afford a coach? And I get it because that's exactly what I used to say. Even when I was making money, my excuse was I don't have enough time. So you're always going to find an excuse on whether or not you need a coach in your space. Coaching is not an expense. It's an investment in yourself. It is the cost of doing business. And I want you to think of it from this perspective. Think of any top athlete, right? Just pick your favorite one. And you know, I have mine. I always talk about them. Or any successful entrepreneur. What do they have in common? They have a lot of things in common, but one of them is they have coaches because they know they can't see their own blind spots and they know they're their worst accountability partner. I mean, can you imagine Michael Jordan or Tiger Woods critiquing themselves? No way. That's what a coach does for them, among many other things. They see the entire picture and help them become the best versions of themselves. And if you're already not doing it scared, are you becoming the best version of yourself? This is a blind spot. And for me, when I finally invested in a coach, I'm telling you, everything shifted for me, not just financially, but what shifted the most for me was belief in myself. My coach helped me recognize what was holding me back the most. And guess what? It was me. The negative self-talk, that record player that kept me up at night, the second guessing everything that kept me playing small. My coach helped me cut through all of that. And for that, I am eternally grateful because all that experience that I had set the path for where I am today, which is why I created my program and multiple programs to come. That offers not just the skills needed to build a profitable business, but to provide the support that so many agents don't get when they are working their way to 6 figures. And if this is what you feel has been missing for you, come join my program so we can start building the life and business that you've always wanted, and you get coached by me. Now, the last one I wish I understood sooner was that success is not about doing everything. It's about knowing what to prioritize and what to take action on. Now, I know when you got your license, or even if you've been in the business for a while, you're thinking, well, Vanessa, they didn't tell me what to prioritize. It's not your fault. Because no one sat you down and ever said that to you. Hey, here's what to focus on. Here's why it matters. And here's how to implement it. And there's a lot I could unpack here, but let me share just a few places where I wasted my time and money early on. First, websites. I spent way too much money hiring companies to create custom sites, lead gen pages, all the bells and whistles, and it never moved my business forward. It never ended up making me money. Like if I were to put a dollar sign, it did not equate to that. So please be mindful of that and don't waste your time here. Now, of course, we didn't have all the things we have now, like Canva and social media. You can hire someone through Fiverr. There's so many different ways to do this, but this is not an income producing activity. Now, the second thing is your branding and logos. I mean, when I say obsessed over creating the perfect name, the perfect logo, the perfect image. And here's what I wish someone had told me. You are the brand. Yes, you work for a brokerage and you have guidelines to meet, but at the end of the day, the clients hire you. They connect with you, not your logo, not your color palette. Now, looking back, if I'd spent all that energy on conversations, follow-up, and building relationships, I definitely would have grown that much faster. So before you spend money or time on something like this, ask yourself, will what I'm doing help me get into more conversations? That is key question. Is working on your logo going to get you into a conversation or set an appointment or better serve your clients? The answer clearly is no. This isn't a priority right now. And when you know what to prioritize, you can actually take action on it. And that's when your business will shift and feel more predictable. And as I mentioned earlier, there are so many lessons that I've learned. And of course, I'll scatter them throughout this podcast and on social media. But these to me are the three that would have made a huge difference, not only for my business, but for my mental health. So let's go ahead and recap real quick. I said, do it scared. Stop waiting until you feel ready because you're never going to feel 100% ready. The way you start building belief is by taking action. Hire a coach because you are your own worst accountability partner, and having someone able to see your blind spots will collapse your learning curve. And I want you to know what to prioritize. Let's stop wasting time on websites and logos and the busy work. Focus first and foremost on conversations. And I want to hear from you. Were these the three things you thought I would say? Go ahead and follow me on Instagram and send me a DM. I'd love to hear from you. And if you're listening to this thinking, okay, I don't want to spend the next 4 years like Vanessa did trying to figure this out on my own, then maybe it's time for you to stop winging it and get the roadmap I wish I had back then. That's exactly why I created my roadmap program. It's designed to help you take action, stay accountable, and build the business you've been dreaming of. So go ahead and send me a DM. Let's talk, and I'll see you here next week. Bye for now. Success as a real estate agent comes down to a decision to show up, take action, and stay committed. So don't just listen. Apply what you learned today and put it into motion. If you need help getting started, I want you to grab my free 60 lead gen strategy guide so you can start finding the right lead gen strategies that'll work for you. And if you're a motivated, ambitious agent who's ready to hit 6 figures, join my Roadmap to 100K program. You'll find both links in the show notes. If you found this episode valuable, please share it with a fellow agent and leave me a 5-star rating and review, as it helps more agents just like you find the show. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you next time on The Profitable Real Estate Agent.